Hello and welcome to this Shadow Short. My name is Peter Rezicek from ShadowTrader.net and the Weekly Options Room. And today I want to talk about gold and Bitcoin. And I thought a good starting point would be the trades that I have on because, as always, no matter what I talk about, I am always eating my own cooking, without a doubt. So you can see here, this is my gold position, not looking so hot. And this is my Bitcoin position. These contracts are very leveraged. As you know, they're $5 a point, so I never go too heavy. I mean, max this is going to be probably 3 to 4. But this is where I'm at right now. And I just wanted to go over a short kind of chart update on how I feel about these and why I'm in these positions and what my plan is going forward. So let's take a quick look together. Let's look at gold, for instance. Let's just start with gold. So first things first is, as you can see from the prior snapshot, my basis in gold is 33.90, right in here. And today you had a breakdown from this kind of tight range, and thus the loss that I just showed you, or the paper loss thus far. But we rallied a decent clip off the lows. We didn't close low, so that's pretty good. And I'm just kind of watching the trend line here. I think it's all about this uptrend line, and I'm actually okay with the size that I have. I'm okay with coming down to it, and I would add more there. What I'm going to be looking for as a really bullish signal to me, and I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but it would be the lack of coming down to here, right? When you know that you kind of probably should come to a trend line and you don't, that's pretty good. And I'm also kind of looking for a move back above the 3,400 area here to negate today's move, and also here, because specifically if you look closer, look at how equal these highs are. It's all very equal in this level. So when I look at that, I just kind of mouse over and I say, okay, what are these highs? That's 34.22, that's 34.19. This one's a little lower, 34.05, and this one is 34.13. So right in here, around that 34.15 area, 15 to 20 maybe, that's also a signal to me, I think, to be potentially buying more contracts if we were to see that. So because my time frame outlook is longer term, understand that it's either or, right? Like I'm either buying more on weakness as we come down into here, or I'm buying more on strength as we cross levels here, which I'm fine with either way. And the main driver of this trade to me is still the dollar. And when you look at the DXY, and this is why it was kind of surprising to me the gold was down so much, because yesterday the dollar closed like this. It ramped up and fell hard, showing that, you know, nobody's really interested here in any kind of short covering. It should be going lower. But of course, today gold went down mainly because of the sort of easing of geopolitical tensions, as we know, right? So it wasn't really, you know, if it was just keying off just the dollar, I think gold would have been up, because you can see the dollar actually gapped down and continued lower. But the trajectory for this dollar, to me, is still lower. And if we go to the weekly chart, you can see it here, how there's been multiple tests of this area here, which I think are going to break. And if you get into an even longer term chart and you look at the monthly here, there's still room to maneuver to the downside, right? There's no reason why the dollar can't collapse down to here in the index to about 90, right? And it seems like it's on trajectory to do that. And certainly this big kind of consolidation above it is overhead supply, and we're potentially going to there. So I continue to be bearish on the dollar and bullish on gold, etc. And I should also mention that now we're getting into a situation where there's inkling of different Fed presidents trying to, you know, in a very performative basis, I think, kind of wrangle and throw their hat in the ring for Powell's job, and trying to be as dovish as possible because they know that that's going to please the current administration. And you're seeing that happen, right? You know, I'd be cutting now. We should cut in July, etc. Well, cutting in July, there's still only about an 18% chance of that, which is decent, but I don't know that that's going to happen. But I do believe that at some point between now and the end of the year, we're probably going to start moving into an easing cycle. And thus, you know, that is going to be also a bullish tailwind for gold. All right, let's move on to Bitcoin, which is here. So we'll get off the monthly chart. We'll go to daily. So my average is about 105, as I showed you from the prior screen, right? That's here. I'm fine with that because I kind of like that I'm kind of in the middle of this. So I'm okay with that. Obviously, it'd be better to have it lower, but regardless, 105 is decent. So I think what's going to happen here is that this trajectory is obviously going to here. And I may actually be a seller there, only because from my experience, this move to break out is probably going to take longer than we think. And certainly there could be outside catalyst force that could make it go right away. But I'm going to be watching very closely here. So it may just be kind of take profits at 110 and then look for the move lower again to maybe test the mid-range and go again. We'll see. If it's firm and I see that a daily bar can actually close above this level, then what I'm going to be looking to do is to add to the position on pullbacks, right? If I see that there's enough strength that it's not rejecting right away, okay, wonderful. Then I know where we could go. Certainly one of the most bullish signals I think would be to take out this high, right? Whatever this high is, that would be the most bullish signal. That's obviously at the 110,890, and then you've got the all-time here. And that one's pretty obviously, like, if we were to go there, I wouldn't be too thrilled about going there in a straight up manner. That would probably have me not adding to the position, because I call that coming up from the bottom, and that can be very dangerous where everybody's kind of piling in on the breakout, but the instrument in question is already tired. So the best scenario really is to kind of close above this level, breach this level, and maybe get here, pull back a little, and have a second test of that area. And it may not play out that way, but I'm just kind of, thinking ahead and sort of playing it forward of how I see potentially that Bitcoin could play out. So this is also, not as directly tied, I don't think, to dollar weakness. Obviously, there's a lot more going on. But more and more, obviously, there's a huger level of adoption. One thing that I liked very much is that you're starting to see a small handful of companies adopt the MSTR model, the company called Strategy, where they are trying to create a Bitcoin treasury, which is interesting. Certainly with the current administration here in the U.S., very Bitcoin positive, and seems to be kind of pointing in that direction. So we'll see. And we don't yet know what type of news we may get over the course of the year, things that could be very, very positive for Bitcoin, like some, regulation, which would be good to get it into the hands of more people where there's some compliance issues, et cetera. But regardless, I don't generally like to think about stuff like that in terms of a trade. I like to think about stuff like that in terms of headwinds or tailwinds. And right now, to me, all the stuff I just mentioned is tailwind for Bitcoin. Hence, it has me looking, at the chart patterns and seeing it as bullish for now. All right. So that is my update on gold and Bitcoin, and both of which I think are bullish, and both of which I think are trades to be held in some way, probably for the better part of the year, or at least until you can have a decent target to make a profit. Like, I do believe that any push above here is probably going to double this range, and it's probably going to be at least a 20,000, 10 to 50, I would say 15,000 point move, I would say. Like, this is about 100 to 112, so that'd be 12,000. So doubling that puts you up at about 124 up here. So just keep that kind of as a rule of thumb. Obviously, when there have been prior rallies, they've been much bigger than that. This rally is basically 80 to 110. So you're talking about 30,000 there, but I think, about 15,000 would be a good starting point, and then see if it goes a little bit further from there. All right, and then as far as gold is concerned, obviously minimally that we test at least the all-time high, right? Like, I want to see the 35, 39 and then kind of reassess the situation. I think we should be able to see at least a 36 handle at some point, but we shall see. All right, that is my update on gold and Bitcoin. Hope you all stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next update. Hey, this is Peter from ShadowTrader.net, and I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you'd like to trade live with me every day in my weekly options advisory, then check out the link in the description below. I wish you good trading, and I'll see you in the room.